it's Joe Pardavila. This is the Forbes Books Podcast, and it's not an overstatement to say that you could buy anything online. But there's still some things I'm a little hesitant to buy. Like, I wouldn't buy a steak online, and I would buy just about any piece of clothing except jeans. There's just something so personal about jeans. Finding the right pair of jeans in person is hard, very hard, almost impossible. But there is one company in the direct-to-consumer space that is changing that perception. It's called Revtown, and today I'm joined by one of its co-founders, Steve Battista. Steve's a former Under Armour executive who's been in the apparel industry for over 25 years. Hey, Steve, welcome to the podcast.
Hello, Joe. Thanks for having me.
Oh, you're very welcome. So, I'm old enough to remember when jeans were sort of a commodity. I mean, you had your Levi's and your Lee, and that was pretty much it. And then basically whatever Sears made. I think I was a chubby kid, so I wore husky jeans. But also, I'm old enough to remember when making fun of $200 jeans was a thing. And now it's like, okay, jeans are $200. People accept that. So talk to me about why you decided to get into the jeans business. As I mentioned in the open, your experience with Under Armour, so you know about the clothing industry, but why jeans?
Well, first of all, thank you for taking me back to Husky.
Oh, okay. You remember those two?
I had the Husky corduroys.
Oh, yes. I never could do the corduroys because I didn't like the noise it made. So, but I totally feel you about the Husky corduroys.
Oh, yeah. I mean, look, we're in the same age bracket because, I remember a time when very early on when kids actually wore jeans to t-ball practice or baseball practice. It was
right.
like everything, and then of course into the era of imported jeans and what was the label on the back, and and recent years commodity. My partner and I, Henry Stafford, who ran product for Under Armour when I was doing marketing, he came from the denim world, and one of the things we found out dealing with athletes and these world-class athletes, NFL athletes, Olympians, is that they had real trouble finding jeans that fit. Pretty much anybody who was athletic and fit couldn't find a pair of jeans that was really suitable for them or comfortable. And at Under Armour, kind of helping along the movement of getting into athletic leisure wear, we're almost fighting the battle against denim for a while. So when we left, Henry had found a fabric, a yarn in a 100-year-old denim maker in Milan, Italy. It had a good soft stretch to it and really almost had a feel like you're wearing track pants, but it was like a true denim. When he showed it to me, I was like, wow, this is pretty cool. I could help along with the marketing and branding of this product.
And so talk to me about that fabric, because let's go down memory lane one more time. I remember when I was a little kid, the fabrics for jeans were so hard that they would literally stand up on their own. And now I think that sort of traumatized me. So I'm obsessed with a jean that has like a soft, flexible texture to it. So what is it about jeans, and why are some you feel like you're wearing like some sort of canvas bag and some are super soft? Can you without getting too sciencey about the world of denim, what differentiates the two there?
Yeah, well, I'll never get too sciencey, but I can tell you, getting into the denim world after being in really starting the performance apparel kind of revolution, as we used to call it, and being in that world for 20 years. I was amazed that nothing had been done to denim. If anything, it was more stiff, it was more rough, less comfortable, and a lot more expensive on the high end, which was ironic because jeans originally are built to be the most durable product in the world and ready for anything, and yet $300 pair of jeans came with a manual of how to wash it,
right.
Turn it inside out. That was a kind of a shocker to me, but. Having that kind of soft yarn that came out of Italy, we were able to put into a denim, so you still get like a proper feel on the outside of the denim, but on the inside, just truly soft and really feels like a track pant or a sweatpants kind of feel. And then also being able to having that experience, knowing where to put the stretch. You can't just make it a stretchy waistband, or it's got to be strategically placed, which Henry's in charge of, and it's just a great fitting product. That the number one piece of feedback you get is like, I didn't know jeans were supposed to be comfortable. So that's a good thing that we're changing people's minds about denim.
It's funny that you mentioned about the fit thing because I remember I was one of those idiots who got into CrossFit for years, and it was really hard finding jeans that would fit like your legs comfortably, but without it being a skinny jean, but also not being baggy. And I remember, not that Levi's is a direct competitor, but they put out like, I think they called it like their athletic fit or something like that. So, and you're seeing more and more brands do that because they're embracing the fact that some people don't have like skinny legs, don't have big legs. They have something in the middle that they just never really were catered to before.
Yeah, exactly. You're right. I mean, the option was, okay, I'm going to size up, but then I'm going to have to, put a belt on and tie that real tight, to fit my thighs or my backside. So there weren't a lot of options. And it's just, the markers the denim world has been using for, really since about the Korean War haven't changed. And obviously the American body has changed quite a bit.
Yes.
Just being able to, really use more athletic bodies to be able to, talk to athletes for, 2+ decades on what they find comfortable and what they need, and really just make it something that wasn't just comfortable, but looked good. I think a lot of us were probably walking around, if we did wear jeans, and kind of droopy dad jeans, as they're called.
Yeah. The high waist.
Just not a good look.
Yeah. And let's talk about the price point, because this is an interesting thing, because I joked about the fact of, the revolution of the $200 jeans, where it used to be a joke and now people accept that jeans cost $200. So your price point is, correct me if I'm wrong, around $79 per pair. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So my question to this is, what audience do you cater to at that price point? And the reason I bring it up is, famously, Peloton has said that before they raised their price point, people from a higher class didn't consider it an exclusive product. So once they raised the price of the Peloton, their sales exploded, because you saw these folks who were highfalutin, had a lot of extra income. They were like, okay, this is the bike I want. How do you consider the price point when it comes to your customers and who you're targeting?
Yeah, that's a really interesting question, and something that we debated quite a bit, because from my background, coming from the brand side, you almost don't want to have a price too low because of that connotation that, well, it can't be good, right? But in building a product, it's very important to us to make sure that, we'll make the margin that we need to make on the product, but we're not going to gouge anybody. And that was really, the driving factor. And it just meant, on the marketing side, we have to do a little bit of heavy lifting to make sure that people know that this is going to be the best quality product that you've purchased. And as we've switched from that 200 or 300 pair of jeans, which are still out there, but in large part, you can find jeans online or at the mall for really cheap and on sale, and the product is really cheap. So for us, the quality was paramount. That's why we when we came together with our denim house in Italy, we named it the actual fabric Decade Denim, because we wanted to make sure that there was a decade's worth of washes in your jeans. And based on the average amount of washes most people put through their jeans, that this could be 10 years worth of washes, and your jeans will still be good to go and performing. The feedback has been great, but going into year 3, people are have had jeans for 3 years and call back and say, hey, I still wear my first pair. That means that we just have to continue to expand the line with new washes and colors, so people continue to buy. But it's a good feeling when someone says, man, that is a great product. And, I love wearing your jeans, and I can wear them every day. I can wear them in the office. I can wear them wherever. So that's a good feeling.
I'm curious about how your experience at Under Armour prepared you for a B2C brand, because, at Under Armour, famously, you were sold in, people may not remember this, Sports Authorities. Those are long gone. Yeah. But and sporting goods stores, and then obviously you scaled up to big box stores. So what's it like being in this sort of retail space of just e-commerce, as opposed to being available, in stores nationwide?
It was so much, even saying it was a master's class in marketing and apparel wouldn't do it justice. But seeing how the consumer habits in buying and purchasing has changed over the years gave us a really good background when we started out. First of all, not going wholesale right off the bat, and being able to control your destiny in terms of how the product represented online, what it looks like, what it said, where you are, as opposed to being at the mercy of a retailer. That was a big deal for us. Building a brand right out of the gate, you want to control all of that. Just having the changes in people's purchasing habits. Apparel, typically, when we started out, the purchases were obviously on the rise. But for something like jeans, it was basically they would use the website to look and see what they wanted, and then go into a store and buy. For us, having basically everything on our phone and knowing who's buying what and where, and where do we lose them? Is it at the shopping cart, or is it not finding size? I mean, that's just such critical information that at your disposal, really, literally, that you can just pull up on your phone. It was just amazing from a business standpoint, and then from the branding standpoint and fulfillment, creating the digital tailor, which is really it's about 4 or 5 questions that you answer online or on your phone, and when you're ordering about height, weight, what kind of style you're looking at, body tape. All of a sudden, we're at like 92% accuracy in fitting people into our jeans, which somehow is better than most stores when people are trying them on.
It's so funny you said that, Ryan, because this whole thing is playing out in my mind because I've never bought jeans online. Full disclosure, never done it. Because to me, the jean buying process is probably the most intimate experience when it comes to buying clothing. I don't know what it is, but like I will buy anything online. I will buy anything in a store off the rack without trying it on. But there's something about jeans that it's hard to figure. It's like it has to look right, feel right. There's a lot of different factors to it as opposed to regular clothes. So you're saying with the tools you have available through your e-com shop that you can almost make it nearly 100% acceptable for the buying experience?
Yeah, I mean it's right around 90%, and a lot of the returns we get, people say I should have listened to your digital tailor, which is it's good to know, and it's continuing to get better. Because of the algorithm, it improves itself. And obviously, there are always outliers, particularly when you're dealing with high level athletes, in terms of kind of fitting outside that spectrum of height and weight and body type and whatever the 4 or 5 questions we ask. But it's really remarkable, and just knowing from how many stores that we built and how many retailers we work with at Under Armour for so long, of seeing that I don't know if people like go right to the food court after they buy jeans and gain a little weight or what, but it's almost as accurate or more accurate than people who are trying them on in the store and then getting home and realizing, they don't fit that great and want to return them. It's all part of just the changing dynamics of people and their purchasing and getting more comfortable, I think, with ordering things like jeans online.
When it comes to buying jeans, talking about the experience of it, but the on top of that you have to deal with is the fact that jeans last forever. I mean, in terms of the sizing, obviously changes, but we talked about the fact that they're built to last, and your jeans, like you say, your decade jeans. So does that make it harder for you to get repeat customers, because do they buy 2 of your or three Revtown jeans and they're set for life? I mean, is that something you have to balance as well?
Yeah, in all honesty, people, at least guys like me on the men's side, women's side, it's totally different. But I had 1 or 2 pair of jeans before I got into this business. Now I have much more, and I think people are not just guys are not just having 1 pair of jeans to work in the yard and 1 for date night. Having the different styles, the different fits, and the different color washes available. And particularly at our price points and the quality, I think people are opening up and filling their closets a little more than just have 1 or 2 pair.
Yeah. One of the things when I speak to e-com entrepreneurs that they love is it's literally like the direct to consumer. The fact that you don't have to run around, a major retailer, whether it's online or brick or mortar. But how important is that relationship between Revtown and your consumers?
I mean, it's so critical. I mean, look, for so long, customer feedback online was basically just a way for people to complain about something not delivering or not being great. And now it's not only just a 2-way conversation, but it becomes a marketing tool. That word of mouth is just so critical, and people will make sure they go ahead and tell the story about the jeans and about how great they are. All it takes is 1 compliment or or one remark about someone's jeans, and we're finding that they're telling everyone that they can. So having that ability to have that conversation directly with consumers in a way that's relaxed and really in a positive light for the most part is it's just another game changer in terms of digital marketing.
Is there, it's funny, there are some of these e-com companies, famously like Tuckit, that, started as an e-com and then moved to brick and mortar. Is that something that's part of the plans of Revtown, and eventually having a couple of those of your brick and mortar locations? If you may already have them, but are there any in the future?
I think so. Obviously with the past year and a half and COVID, things have changed. We've done some pop-up stores. We sold in some Nordstroms. We did a partnership with Mizzen and Maine, makers of great dress shirts. So, we were in their stores. And I might be old school, but I love just the retail presentation and being able to bring people into a store and kind of, envelop them with the brand. I think as the world, kind of recalibrates and, hopefully, we get out of kind of this COVID fog at some point, I think it would be great just to, create that brand shop that Revtown deserves.
It's, one of the things I've been harping about since the beginning of the pandemic is the idea of pop-ups, and you mentioned pop-ups there. You don't really need to invest, these leases that these commercial properties were making people sign like 5-10 years. And it's like, at this point, because of the internet, you don't need to have your brick and mortar there for a decade. You could have a pop-up shop, in New York, Austin, California, wherever you fill in the blank there. Do you think that's going to be like the big part of e-commerce going forward? Like a lot of these e-coms just doing pop-up shops every once in a while to have people experience it? Because as good as you are in marketing, Ryan, as good as you are as describing the fabrics of the Revtown jeans and how great they are, people still like the idea of feeling those jeans and trying them on.
Yeah, I mean, we did a pop-up store for holiday time frame, our first year, and for us, particularly right out of the gate, and kind of the claims that we're making, and again, having that lower price point that that we thought was our best fair price, we wanted people to put them on because we knew once you put them on, we were going to convert you into a Revtown person for life. There's no better way to do that than in a shop. Where you can kind of tell your story and have, that live interaction. Being entirely direct to consumer, being online, being digital, being nimble like that has been really a savior to the brand through the, toughest of times here with COVID. But man, it's just a great experience to be able to put up a shop like that. And I think, the pop-up shops and the being nimble and not being weighed down by massive cost and massive length to contracts is really critical to a startup brand.
I got a couple like e-com questions for you. One of the things that has become sort of customary, and actually, if you don't do this one thing I'm about to say, you might as well not even be in e-commerce, but free shipping. How do companies, whether it's you or, obviously Amazon does the Prime, so we're kind of paying for it, but how do e-coms pay for all this free shipping? Because it seems like if you're successful, that's a whole lot of shipping costs.
You had me so afraid that we were not doing whatever you're about to ask.
Oh, no, of course, no.
I was like, oh, God.
Is he dropping a bomb on me? No, but seriously, you guys do offer free shipping. How do companies like you afford it?
Really within the last couple years, it's almost like, cost of entry for direct-to-consumer brand. I know there's still some brands out there, it has to be a minimum purchase.
Right.
But for us, again, it was about figuring out what's the best experience we can give to our consumer from the product to the delivery process that still is profitable, but is not going to break our bank or break their bank. We work that into the price and into to the delivery because I think that's a very particularly for a brand just starting out, it's one of those things where if you could take care of that, you're going to get somebody to take a chance on buying something, as you say, as personal, as intimate as buying a pair of jeans online. If we take care of that shipping, I think you're more likely to take a flyer and see, what we're all about.
So, I mean, I guess my question's kind of stupid, but you basically build the price into the jeans, right? I mean, in super layman's terms there, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's all part of that, and again, because it's all direct and it's all us. I mean, it's built into the price and the strategy, and knowing that if you can save just a couple pennies on packaging, shipping, it's major room to the margins. So I mean, it's a big deal. It's a big cost to us, but I think it's really important to us as a brand building piece to make sure that we're going to make it as easy and as frictionless as possible to try out Revtown.
And this is sort of my last kind of e-com question, but how does a online retailer scale up? Like, how do you do that in terms of, because, obviously with like a brick and mortar, it's like, we're going to put more stores in this area. We're going to extend to 1,000 more stores. So what do you guys envision as Revtown scaling up?
It's a lot of filling the funnel, as we say, and getting more people into that funnel, just trying out the jeans, whether that's through social media, email campaigns, digital, working a lot with websites, podcasts, because we are all online currently. But then also, we've had some good returns from traditional stuff like, home mailers and catalogs. Having that nice printed piece that arrives, in your mailbox, has done, great for us in terms of return and just giving people that kind of warm feeling about the brand. So, I mean, largely digital marketing and mixed in with some traditional pieces, and it all goes back to the number one principle and word of mouth.
Yeah,
it's just that word of mouth is spreading in different ways now. And it's all digital, but I shouldn't say all digital, but it's primarily digital.
Yeah.
And that word of mouth and recommendations, reviews go so far, and they're so authentic, and people trust them, even if they don't know where they're coming from or who the person is giving it.
And what's the competition like in the sort of digital jean space? That's, I think, a word I just probably made up, but like, is there a lot of it?
There's more than I think I knew about. I mean, I know it's funny. We kind of build out that market space and going into the whole thing and looking at, okay, here's a high end price, here's a high end quality, then here's kind of the commodity, which was chock full, and we knew we didn't want to go there. But there was no one who's making a good quality at a reasonable price. So, and very few claiming to do anything that we were about to do with performance. So we thought there was a lot of white space there, and I still think there is. I have seen in the past, people kind of taking some of our language and putting it onto their product marketing and thinking, okay, well, I guess I didn't see them before, but they're trying to play in the space. But I do think that when you map out those brands, there's still a lot of white space around Revtown at what we're doing.
What's if someone's listening who wants to start an e-com in the retail space, is there like a lesson number one that you would say to them, like, before you do this one thing? I know there's probably a million of them at this point, right? But is there one that just stands out as I ask you that question?
My gut reaction to that question is always to say, it all starts with a great product. And I think you probably still have to say that. Now with the caveat around that he's starting online with a e-commerce business, a startup brand, I think it's still got to be starting out with an amazing product. But I think, 1B would be the messaging, and have that, a very crystal clear message that you can market and put out there and create content around. Product will always be number one, but man, it's so much more important now to have a really easy to understand and crystal clear message.
And finally, on a personal front, what is it that you can do that makes you happy?
Wow, that's a big, deep question.
Yeah, man.
In general,
yeah.
I love the creative side. I love creating stories. I love looking at a product and building out the story, the name, and really the strategy messaging around it. I feel like that's something that came naturally to me. I'm a failed novelist from 20 some years ago. So the novel didn't sell, but I always had a knack, I think, for like taglines and advertising and just building brand stories. And hopefully that's I'm still doing a good job of that today.
Awesome. His name is Steve Battista. He's the co-founder of Revtown. Steve, they sound like awesome jeans. I'm popping on to Revtown, your website, to check them out. Although I'm sort of torn because you have taper and sharp. There's so much to what do you suggest to someone who logs on to RevtownUSA.com for the first time? Can you give us any baby steps before we deep dive into these jeans?
Yes, absolutely. I always say, it should be as easy as the In-N-Out burger menu. First of all the jeans have stretch, so you're covered.
Yeah.
My teenage sons would go towards the taper. My age, I'm going to be either sharp for date night or automatic, basically, for the Saturday, Sunday afternoons. I give you a little bit more stretch.
Okay.
So if that helps you. So your taper is probably the most snug, then sharp, right in the middle. That's good for the office, good for date night. Then automatic. Truly, you can wear it anywhere, but that's my Saturday morning. Saturday afternoon, going to the games and seeing the kids, Gene.
Awesome. Steve, thank you very much for the time. I wish you the best of luck.
Thank you so much for having me. This was a lot of fun. Thank you.
You're welcome, Steve, and that's it for this edition of the Forbes Books Podcast. If you enjoy the show, make sure you take a quick second to subscribe so you automatically get new shows when they drop. Also, if you have a minute, I would love if you left us a review so more amazing entrepreneurs like yourself can discover the show. And please don't forget the golden rule and treat others as you want to be treated. Thanks for listening. Until next time, adios.
This has been a production of Forbes Books Radio. Find out more at ForbesBooksRadio.com.